Okay, so the story for Deadlight is very simple. You have a character named Randall Wayne, who, with a couple of other survivors, are in the middle of the zombie apocalypse. And of course, the zombie apocalypse is not a very nice setting for anybody. And right in the beginning of the game, a bunch of zombies crash through a building that him and a couple of his survivor friends are staying at, and they get separated. So the entire game is pretty much Randall Wayne has to go and meet up with his survivor friends before they get killed. Also, he has to meet up with his wife and kid, who he hasn't seen in a very, very long time, and also survive. That's pretty much the entire plot right there. Now, I actually did like the story, mostly because of the setting and the main character was actually really likable, but my main problem with the story is that it is way, way too short. I mean, it's like two and a half hours long, and that means you don't get much character development with all the other characters, like the survivors that tag along with Randall, and some of the other characters you meet on later in the game. You get no character development, pretty much, and that's a main problem with me, because I love character development. And also the script really wasn't all that well done, but I do like the environment. I thought the atmosphere was really, really good in the game. So overall, I thought the story was okay. Not great, but okay. Now let's talk about the sound. Which I have to admit, the sound design and soundtrack is absolutely fantastic in this game. It adds so much to the atmosphere because there's not much of a soundtrack, but when it gets to the sound design, you'll hear things in the background like creepy footsteps or just like the zombies eating something or knocking at a door, and it'll really, really get intense and just, oh, you just want to get out of that environment quick before a zombie just busts through the wall or something and kills you. And it really adds to that atmosphere. Now, the voice acting, on the other hand, that's a complete different story because most of the voice acting in this is not very good. The only one I would actually say was good is the guy that voices Randall. He had a very gruff sound, which really matches the way his character looked and act, and it really did. He did a good job, but everybody else was very, very, I'll just say, bad, and the script wasn't all that great either, so I can't really completely blame the actors for it. But yeah, the voice acting just was not that good. So the sound overall is still good, even though the voice acting's bad. But that sound design is great. Let's go on to the graphics. Now the graphics in Deadlight. If you thought Limbo was a gorgeous looking game that used black and white, wait until you see this game. And obviously you're looking at it right now because I have gameplay, but it really is a fantastic looking game with a black and white motif, and it looks gorgeous, especially with that Unreal Engine 3. Man, that engine is magnifico. Now, the character models and even some of the environments in the background look fantastic. They really do, even though you don't get to see that much of the character models because they're always like in the dark and you never really see them. And the only cutscenes that happen are comic book style cutscenes. They do still look really good when you get to see them. I especially love all the detail they put into some of these environments. You'll be going through offices and hospitals, and there'll be stuff scattered everywhere. Chairs, dead people. That's a great way to explain stuff. Chairs and dead people everywhere. But no, really, it has a great sense of dread too, just the way everything is lit because the lighting is perfect. It really is. It's very creepy looking. I just love the way this game looks. It's so amazing. One of the best looking arcade games I've seen to date. It really is. So you know what? That's the graphics. I love them. Let's go on to the gameplay and finish this review. Okay, so the gameplay for Deadlight is a straight up 2D platformer with some shooting aspects and some puzzle aspects, and of course a whole lot of zombies. Now, the majority of the game is going to be about the platforming, and I really don't need to explain the platforming, do I? You'll be jumping to ledges, to ladders, to things off buildings and stuff, trying to get to other places, and for the most part, it's a standard platformer, and it does work here. It never really gets old because they always try to mix it up with the shooting aspects and even some of the puzzles. Now, there are times here and there where the climbing just doesn't really work all that well. I actually found a couple of glitches where I would jump to a ledge and I'd just be automatically stuck there and I couldn't do anything and I have to revert to the last save, and that's a little annoying, but for the most part it does work. Now, the second part of the gameplay is the shooting, and in the game you'll get a pistol, a shotgun, and a slingshot. Now, the slingshot doesn't really work all that well against zombies, but the shotgun and the pistol are definitely highly effective, and of course it's especially effective in the head because they are zombies. Even though they like to call them shadows, they're still zombies. And I thought the shooting and the aiming itself is very well done. It feels really really cool just to shoot a bunch of zombies with a shotgun and watch their heads fly off. But I do feel the aiming is a little bit too slippery, especially when you're trying to shoot off locks off of a gate, or shooting like pieces of wood off of a gear so you could turn a valve. That's where it gets a little bit too cumbersome, but whenever you're shooting a zombie, it's perfectly fine. Now, the last part of Deadlight is the puzzle solving, which I have to say I'm a little disappointed in, because it's not really all that hard. It's very easy. Most of it is just kill these zombies, pull this crate, and then jump up to this ledge. It's mostly just platforming puzzles, and it's really generic and very simple, and just doesn't cause much of a challenge at all. It's no Limbo, let me just say that. But overall, I do think Deadlight is a very good game. My main problem with the game, besides maybe some of the aiming and the puzzles, it's a very short game. I mean, there's plenty of collectibles to find and things to read, like his diary that he has, the main character, but it's a very short game. It's only 2 hours long. I beat it in 2 hours and 2 minutes. That's way too short for a $15 game, but it was a very fun experience. So if you like experiences, then you might enjoy this game. I really did. I thought it was very fun. It could have been better, but it was still very entertaining. So anyway, there you go. There's my review. Take it as you wish. I don't know. $15? Is it worth it? I don't know. If you like experiences, then you might actually really enjoy this. So anyway, there you go. There's my review. Thank you and goodbye.